After I reread Leopold of Belgium's letter to the Christian missionaries coming to Africa, I became just angry all over again. Because I'm looking at today's Christians and the things that they're so scared of, and it's like it's exactly what you did to African people that you're so scared of.
Have you heard of, seen, and or read the letter King Leopold II of Belgium sent to the missionaries during colonization? This letter was written in 1883. I found out about this letter sometime last year, and see, when I tell you I was pissed after reading this letter, my blood boiled in ways that my blood wasn't supposed to boil. Hell, blood wasn't supposed to do what my blood did that day. That's how pissed I was, right? So, trigger warning. I'm going to be reading out this letter for those of us who haven't heard of this letter, read this letter before. Yeah, I'm going to be reading this letter in this video. So you might want to mentally prepare yourself because, yeah, you would get pissed by this letter. High chance, right? But very quickly back to colonization era. So the colonizers used to send letters to each other back and forth. They exchange like that. That's how they used to communicate. And King Leopold II of Belgium also had letters that he sent back and forth, right? And we know how the colonizers lied when they documented history. Bunch of liars, amongst other things they were, right? Like rapists, thieves, murderers, right? So they were not very, very good people. And King Leopold II of Belgium wasn't a very good human being. For those of you who haven't heard of the guy before, long story short, man was a demon. He was the worst of the worst, and we don't talk about him enough. The things he did in Congo, the things this man did in Congo, listen, oh my goodness. Man was chopping off limbs off of people for shits and giggles. So during that time, he enslaved the Congolese in Congo. He enslaved these people in their own homes, right? And they had quotas that they were supposed to remit every day. And if you don't meet up to what was expected of you, you get your limbs chopped off. It doesn't matter whether you are a child, woman, man, it doesn't matter. Sometimes children were even getting their limbs chopped off as punishment for their parents. Did I phrase that correctly? So say they want to punish a Congolese man or woman, they could torture the children instead to punish the parents. And this same man, King Leopold II of Belgium, this demon, let's call him what he is, this guy killed off 15 million Congolese. One man is responsible for the death of 15 million people in Congo. He was the worst of the worst. So that's the little brief on who the guy was. Now on to Leopold's letter to the colonial missionaries. By the way, this letter has been made public, so if you want to check it out yourself, you can. It's very easy to access. Quick Google search and boom, you'll find it. This letter is something sharp, but let's get into it. Letter from King Leopold II of Belgium to colonial missionaries, 1883. Reverence, fathers and dear compatriots. The task that is given to fulfill is very delicate and requires much tact. You will go certainly to evangelize, but your evangelization must inspire above all Belgium interests. Your principal objective in our mission in the Congo is never to teach the niggers to know God. This they know already. They speak and submit to a Mungu, one Nzambi, one Nzakomba, and what else, I don't know. They know that to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to lie and to insult is bad. Have courage to admit it. You are not going to teach them what they know already. Your essential role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrials, which means you will go to interpret the gospel in the way it will be the best to protect your interest in that part of the world. For these things, you have to keep watch on disinteresting our savages from the riches that is plenty in their underground. To avoid that, they get interested in it and make you murderous competition and dream one day to overthrow you. Your knowledge of the gospel will allow you to find text ordering and encouraging your followers to love poverty, like happier are the poor because they will inherit the heaven, and it's very difficult for the rich to enter the kingdom of God. You have to detach from them and make them disrespect everything, which gives courage to affront us. I make reference to their mystic system and their war fetish, warfare protection, which they pretend not to want to abandon, and you must do everything in your power to make it disappear. Your action will be directed essentially to the younger ones, for they won't revolt when the recommendation of the priest is contradictory to their parents' teachings. The children have to learn to obey what the missionary recommends, who is the father of their soul. You must singularly insist on their total submission and obedience. Avoid developing the spirit in the schools. Teach students to read and not to reason. There, dear patriots, are some of the principles that you must apply. You will find many other books which will be given to you at the end of this conference. Evangelize the niggers so that they stay forever in submission to the white colonialists, so they never revolt against the restraints they are undergoing. Recite every day, happy are those who are weeping because the kingdom of God is for them. Convert always the blacks by using the whip. Keep their women in 9 months of submission to work freely for us. Force them to pay you in sign of recognition, goats, chicken, or eggs every time you visit their villages. And make sure that niggers never become rich. Sing every day that it's impossible for the rich to enter heaven. Make them pay tax each week at Sunday Mass. Use the money supposed for the poor to build flourishing business centers. Institute a confessional system which allows you to be good detectives, denouncing any black that has a different consciousness contrary to that of the decision maker. Teach the niggers to forget their heroes and to adore only ours. Never present a chair to a black that comes to visit you. Don't give him more than 1 cigarette. Never invite him for dinner even if he gives you chicken every time you arrive at his house. This letter, Leopolds calling Africans Congolese savages. But still in that letter, he admits that these people, they already know right from wrong. They know to kill somebody is bad. They know to sleep with someone's wife is bad. They know to steal from someone is bad. But he called these people savages. But these people that are coming, colonizers, Leopold and his people that were coming in to do literally everything that savages, the savages that they are, would do and they did, are calling the people who is saying are aware that these things are bad, the savage ones. You that left Europe to Africa, to Congo, to go unalive them, to go cut off their limbs, to go enslave them, colonize them, make them live in inhumane situations. You are not the savage one. No, it is the people who are in their house, minding their business, already knowing right from wrong, and knowing that all of these things are bad, so they are not doing it, which you admit in your letter. They are the ones who are savage, who are the savages. Like, make it make sense. But before I forget, there is a note here that is under the letter I read, Leopold's letter, that I also want to read out to you guys. This note says that the above speech, Leopold's letter, which shows the real intention of the Christian missionary journey in Africa, was exposed to the world by Mr. Mokoani Mwikwani Bukoko, born in the Congo in 1915 and who in 1935, while working in the Congo, bought a second-hand Bible from the Belgian priest who forgot the speech in the Bible. And also, you hear some people say, oh, the colonizers were different from the missionaries. But this letter right here proves that the colonizers and the missionary were one and the same. The missionaries and the colonizers were working towards achieving the same aims and objectives. Christianity was that one tool that was strategically used to spiritually colonize the African people and make them docile.
For example, in that letter, the king of Leopold acknowledges that the African elders are very strong in their spirituality, which is why they've not been able to get to us. We knew God, he acknowledges that. He knew that we acknowledged what was wrong. We had very tangible moral compass, you get what I mean? He sent these Christian missionaries to the children, to African children, purposely because he knew that children are malleable. He instructs these Christian missionaries to not teach them to reason and to not teach them anything tangible. And he instructs Christian missionaries to carry out this task because he acknowledges that the Bible is a very useful tool to indoctrinating them properly, like to getting it done. I don't know how to put it. So he specifically gives this task to Christian missionaries because he knows that they and only they will be able to carry out that task, that particular task, which is so crazy to me. Because if you are living a life of light, why would somebody think that is you, that you are the best option for that kind of evil, first of all? Second of all, with the stupid overrighteous moral compass that many of them have now, talking about, I can't do this because I'm a Christian. Why couldn't your former ancestors revolt and say, no, my God cannot allow me to go and do such a heinous crime against human beings? Y'all went happily because you guys knew you were getting a paycheck out of teaching African kids that their riches are in heaven, which he also specifically says that he should teach us, to teach us that the things that we have are not important and to let us abandon our riches and love poverty. He also instructs them to take away the reasoning of children and make them just, sheep, literally sheep. The existence of Christianity in Africa today is because of a bunch of brainwashed kids. And you all hold on so tightly to this thing. Of what benefit is it to you, really? A lot of you hold this notion that Africa was in darkness before the Christian missionaries or before white people. But here in this letter, this man acknowledges that that was not the case. And instead, he was the one bringing the darkness to us. And we've been in darkness ever since. The first time I read that letter, I was much more upset because I was still a baby ex-Christian. That time, the shit was like, what? Now I'm still upset, but I've read it before. It's not the same, direct emotions. It's just atrociously crazy. Read it. I encourage anyone to just read it.
And also the fact that it was the Catholic Church who at the time was the head of Christianity that sanctioned colonization and slavery. Pope Alexander VI in 1493 sanctioned colonization and slavery. He basically told his people, yes, you have the right to. He decreed that they can go out and do whatever the hell they want to do to people. He basically gave his people the okay to go about and forcefully convert people into Christianity. He gave them the right to enslave and colonize them. He gave them the right to be able to steal from them. He gave them the right to unalive them, rape them. He basically told them, we want to expand our empire. That's the goal. So do whatever the hell you've got to do to make sure that happens. So none of this was about God.
Africans are very spiritual people by nature. So there's never going to be a time, and I don't think anyone is trying to take anybody away from God. A lot of these religious folks, which is a huge chunk of Africans, just cannot understand that we actually knew God. White people did not bring you God. If anything, they learned a lot from us about God. So, worship however you please, as I always say, but shine your eye. Because this thing that's still going on, where we believe if you exit an Abrahamic religion, you're going to hell, is so crazy. We have been so brainwashed, so damaged by this idea, which was the plan. Free yourself. For those who are, thinking about exiting, free yourself from the fear. If I leave this religion of the invaders, I'm going into this other dark place which puts me in hell. All that was done deliberately to make you think exactly how you think now. And all these years later, why are we still doing this? People still leaving comments like, so you want me to abandon God? I believe in God. I'm not saying everyone needs to. I believe in God. Olodumare. I believe in God. I don't believe in this biblical thing anymore, but I believe in God. Worship how you please. Shine your eye.
It's crazy, man. The things you find in history, the things you find when you look into history. It's painful, but we can't run away from it because we need to know. We do need to know our history and the things that went down. And we actually have to start peeling back the onion, shedding all the lies that they've made us believe were facts, right? Share them all and get to what exactly went down. And goodness, very happy that little by little these things are coming to light. Like I always say, when breeze blow, fowl yansh go open. I like the breeze that is blowing. Lies can stay hidden forever. What are your thoughts on this? Let's continue this conversation down below.